got a couple more mods for my bike. I still haven't put my exhaust in my flat slide carb one yet, and it's not that I'm being lazy or weak sauce or anything. It's just standing and kind of walking around the bike and bending over and twisting and stuff isn't really my strong suit right now. So, you know, and putting the carb on, if you've ever put a carb on a bike like this, you know it's a pain in the ass. And I don't feel like it's gonna, you know, I'm having fun with how much power it has now. I don't feel like the pain that I'll go through kind of limping around the bike to put the carb on so I can put the pipe on is really going to be worth it just yet. So I haven't done it yet. I did get a carbon fiber heat shield for the new pipe, because I don't know if ever you've seen the MRD pipe, but the MRD pipe does not come with a heat shield, and I like the skin on my leg to stay where it is, so, you know, and not be all blistered and burnt. So I got this carbon fiber heat, I thought he was going to come across. I got this carbon fiber heat shield. It was like 70 bucks, but the stainless one was 25 or something like that. But I think that carbon fiber is going to transfer a lot less heat than the stainless steel one will. So I think the first time I burnt my leg on the stainless steel heat shield, I would have wished that I spent the extra money for the carbon fiber one. So I went with the carbon fiber one. And, you know, carbon fiber looks better anyway. I mean, that's subjective, I guess, but I think it looks better. And it's probably like 4 grams lighter. So there's always that bonus. Wow, it's windy. I'm getting blown all over the place here. I wish. No. My wife might have something to say about that. Garden Snake just had a video about this. Man, these guys and these GSXRs, and you know, nothing makes me want to smack somebody harder than when they're talking about a bike and they say Gixxer, unless they're saying it like, you know, ha ha ha, he's got a Gixxer. You know, if they're like, dude, it's my Gixxer, brah. But Jake seems to really dislike GSXR guys. My true hatred goes for the Hayabusa douchebags. I have yet to meet a single Hayabusa rider that isn't a douchebag. Now, I'm sure out of all my subscribers or somebody out there watching, somebody rides a Hayabusa that's going to get offended by that. And, you know, I might even have somebody come into my channel now and be like, oh, you know, you're a dick. You know, Hayabusa's the best. You're just mad because your shitty supermoto is slow. But I really don't mean it as an insult to all Hayabusa guys. I'm just saying that of all the motorcycle riders I've ever met, 100% of the time, the Hayabusa guys have been douchebags. And the reason this topic's on my mind is, well, one, from Garden Snake's video following that idiot on the yellow GSXR, which, if you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's funny as hell. But today on my Facebook feed, on my personal Facebook feed, not my motovlogging one of the local bike shops, they post pictures of the customers with their new bikes, and there was a picture of a guy with his new to him, used Hayabusa with a stretched swing arm. And all I could immediately think of is that meme with the guy from, I think he's from Willy Wonka's, where he's like, oh, you this? Tell me how this you are. So I see this guy stand there, and I'm sure he's, you know, I don't know, I don't like to prejudge people and label them, but I'm sure he's a douchebag. He bought a Hayabusa with a stretched swing arm. And you know what? I would love to give him the benefit of the doubt, but I'm just betting he's a douchebag. So, you know, anyway, so they posted a picture. Here's Mr. Dickbags with his gay-ass Hayabusa with the retarded stretch swing arm. And I immediately thought of the meme. I'm like, oh, you have a stretched Hayabusa? You have a Hayabusa with a stretched swing arm? You must drag race so much. Tell me about all your drag racing. Because it's just, I don't know. It just, let's take a bike that, you know, is a pretty phenomenal bike. You know, let's give credit where it's due. Hayabusas are a pretty ridiculous bike. But let's take one of those and completely destroy any kind of geometry for how it's going to handle and how it's going to ride. And the thing is, if you change the length of the swing arm like that, you're changing the length of the lever, so you have to change the spring rate and you have to change the damping setup on the shock. And you know, none of these douchebags do that. Which is one of the reasons they're such douchebags. I used to drink here at this bar all the time with my buddies. Man, I got so many memories just getting destroyed, hammered at this bar. One of my buddies actually met his wife at that bar. She was one of the waitresses. We gave him a lot of shit, but I don't know, she was nice enough, and he seems happy, so I guess that's the important part. But yeah, so I don't know. If you ride Hayabusa, you might be cool, and if you are, I'd almost kind of like to meet you just to be like, free cat. Anyone want a free cat? I'd almost kind of like to meet you just to be like, wow, I've met a Hayabusa rider that was cool. He wasn't a douchebag, or she. You know, I'm sure, man, cool Hayabusa riders, I'm sure you are out there somewhere. You know, I think that's my new mission. I'm going to find that rarest of rare things, a Hayabusa rider that isn't a douchebag. I'm sure they're out there. They got to be out there. If you ride Hayabusa and you're not a douchebag, say hey in the comments or something. And I feel bad for any of those guys because I'm sure they feel the heat from the stereotype. You know.